Okay, I wanted to share my thoughts real quick on Claude Design. Why? Because I have opinions, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some wisdom here. I've been designing for quite a while, over a decade. I get paid a lot of money to design for really cool folks around the world. Um, yeah, if we think about a tool like Claude Design that has elevated the ability to quickly put out something that looks good by kind of the modern conventional standard, whatever trends are popular at the moment, it can map to those and make something that looks pretty. There's a bit of a conclusion I think we can draw that people are kind of missing about what this will mean for design as a service and a career, as well as something that people are trying to apply to their products or apps that they're building and whatnot. So I jumped into Claude Design and used it to generate a new page for Build Story, a project I'm working on, to display badges, this beautiful set of badges that our designer has made. And it looked good. The page looked really good. It was very impressive. Then last night, a friend of mine, I was talking about how he wants to start his own business in a trade that he has, a physical trade. And I said, what's holding you back? He said, a website. I said, okay, hang on. We jumped up, sat here. I punched in a quick set of prompts, and he had a stunningly beautiful website that would completely smash every other service business in that niche out of the water in this area. In fact, in the whole country of New Zealand. And then this morning, to tie it up, I saw someone sharing a design on Twitter that they'd made with Claude Design that looked almost identical to the badge page I'd made for Build Story using Claude Design a few days ago that looked really good. And I think this is kind of the way of looking at it, certainly in like the more short to medium time horizon, beyond a certain point. When we cross the true threshold of the singularity, everything warps and gets weird, and who knows what hyper intelligent AI is going to be capable of. But short to medium term, if you're designing, or perhaps if you need a design as a small business owner, a person in a trade or what have you, great. Design kind of just has been solved for you. Most design that's being produced in those areas was being produced by operators who aren't designers. So it was very bad, right? Folks would make their own websites because they had the tools to use things like Squarespace, but they didn't have the education on how to design to a really high degree, such that most websites for small, medium businesses are kind of shit. It's okay. They don't need to be amazing. In fact, they just need to perform a function, but they could be much better. And now it's trivial to make them much better. People rather like my friend Pat could just jump into Claude Design and make a really beautiful website for their business. So that, I think, has kind of shifted, right? 2 weeks ago, or I guess even a week ago, just before Claude Design dropped, if Pat had said to me, in fact, another friend of mine had asked me about a month ago to help him with a website, and I built it. I used Claude in the space of about an hour and made him a design, and he sat next to me. I extracted from him what information he needed and made this pretty website for him to use. But my point being, all right, well, now we're on the other side of that. There is this kind of little threshold that's been crossed, and now you could just say, hey, just go punch in a command to this tool, and there it is. There's your beautiful business website. But I think the more salient point here, what I'm trying to get across, is me using Claude Design a few days ago, creating this badge page for Build Story, and then seeing a design today for another project, some other designer on X, on Twitter, and just acknowledging that they look the fucking same. In isolation, it's beautiful. It's a cool layout. It's great use of color and fonts. And in fact, there was a bit of diversion or variance across those things. But fundamentally, they looked almost exactly the same. And yeah, if design shifts, the kind of Overton window of design, if you will, if this window shifts where the average design is going to look a lot better, but designs are going to look a lot more homogeneous, then the opportunity is ever present for people to develop their skills as designers and their taste and build outside of the bounds of what most designs are looking like. You know, the furtherance of these AI tools for design is just going to produce more homogeneous, kind of closely placed designs. And if we think about trends or style within things like clothing, there's this human, shifting window part, this social part. Maybe it's to do with something in the realm of social status, and the goalposts have to shift for something to be truly cool. There's these kind of gradients across it where, the first movers are the ones who set the trends and style, and they have to have a certain thing about them to be able to pull that off, and there needs to be a headwind caught in those sails that carries it forward, and then it reaches a point where this vacuum's created and other people start jumping in to try and copy that trend because it's cool, it's the new thing, and then eventually it reaches a critical point whereby past that it inverts and a new trend must arise, and that old thing isn't as cool or stylish anymore, and so the process goes. And obviously it's cyclic. There is, I think, a pretty well observed cyclic pattern to that, like again within clothing, more vintage stuff popping up at certain points in time, or certain time periods or what have you. But the point is, the same thing will be true of app design, website design, and so forth. The ability to quickly pump out a design that conforms to some recent kind of idea of what looks cool, it's just going to be super homogeneous. And maybe it's still a good thing, right? It just means that the average app for the last 5-10 years has looked kind of shit, and that will be shifted up. That's that window moving, which is great. It means that everyone's going to enjoy better design across the board. It's just the place to operate as a designer, and the demand for that skill is just going to be on more bespoke, kind of human taste driven stuff. I don't know. I don't have a comment on whether or not that's overall a net positive thing. Well, and just in terms of how it relates to people's careers and jobs and the shape of their skills and whatnot. But I do think that's how things are going to play out. And this kind of trite or asinine set of takes around, design is dead now, just kind of missed the point. Yeah, it's probably just fucking rage bait anyway, right? Like, people are just trying to get some engagement so they can make some money off X's fucking revenue system by generating views. Which is kind of sad and dumb, but that's what I think about that. Design is dead. Long live design. It's not going anywhere. Okay. Take it easy.